Good morning. Rat one here. And it's been a while since I've been on teaching, but here we go. King Solomon. Wow. I already told you about Solomon in my other video, Lusting for Nephilim. Now, up till now, if you've been following, all these people did what they wanted to until their God, their Most High, he only had a problem with them worshiping other family members, gods. Yes. All these marriages weren't for no reason. You can say he lusted, but remember, Solomon was very wise. Right, nigga brew? So it wasn't just for marriage. It was for other things. Just like niggas do now. They don't really love their woman. They marry them for other things. King Solomon did a lot of things for his God. And the goal is to conquer. That's the goal of this world. Conquer. It's a funny picture, yes. Very funny. Now, when you read about Solomon, he seems, well, of course, he knows what he's doing. And it's going to tell you that he fell because of it, but he never really fell. He just got punished a little bit, no big deal. So when you read that King Solomon, however, loved many foreign women besides Pharaoh's daughter, Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Sidonians, and the Hittites. They were from nations that the Lord had told the Israelites, you must not intermarry with them, because we will surely turn your hearts after their gods. Nevertheless, Solomon held fast to them in love, and he had 700 wives of royal births, and 300 concubines, and his wives led him astray. As Solomon grew old, his wife turned his heart over to other gods, and his heart was not fully devoted to the Lord God, as the heart of David, his father, has been. He followed Ashtaroth, the goddess of Sidonians, and Moloch, the detestable god of the Ammonites. So Solomon did evil in the eyes of the Lord. He did not follow the Lord completely as David, his father, has done. Well, David lusted too, didn't he? We went through that already. And he had his wife of another tribe. He had his wife of another tribe. But the point is, what is their Most High really mad about? The other family members, well, gods. That's what he was worried about. You see, when you're in politics, you make agreements and contracts and treaties, peace treaties. And that's exactly what he's doing. But at the same time, the Most High didn't want any other worship of any god besides him, because he wanted all the energy and all the attention. He didn't want to share it with the others. So in 1 Kings 11:4, where we just went through, they said he waited when Solomon was old. His wives turned his heart away after other gods. Sorry. Solomon already knew that Israel was worshiping other gods. He didn't introduce anything. We all know Israel was worshiping other deities from Moses' time. So it's not anything new. It's just reinforcement. And in 1 Kings chapter 3 verse 1, Solomon formed a marriage alliance with Pharaoh's king of Egypt and took the Pharaoh's daughter and brought her to the city of David until he had finished building his own house and the house of the Lord and the wall of Jerusalem. The people were still sacrificing high places because there was no house built for the name of the Lord until those days. He formed an alliance with the Pharaoh king of Egypt. Now, which king could that be? There's a pharaoh by the name of Siamon. He was the sixth pharaoh of Egypt during the 21st dynasty. And it's funny because he did do similar things as Solomon. But you guys still think that the line of Shem could exist at some times, but they're lying to you, and you're still under a spell. It has been suggested that Simon was the unnamed pharaoh of the Bible who gave marriage to his daughter of King Solomon in order to seal alliance between the two, and later conquered Gezer and gave it to Solomon as well. The identification is nowadays supported by Kitchen and has been challenged by other scholars, such as Paul Ash and Mark Cavalis, and later stating that it's possible to conclude that Egypt monarch ruled currently with David and Solomon. Really? Because I already told you in videos that King David took out the same people as Pharaoh Phenedes the First. But you can't do that. Of course, there's going to be debunks like Edward Lipinski suggesting that attempt of relating the destruction of Gezer to the hypothetical relationship between Simon and Solomon cannot be justified factually, since Simon's death precedes Solomon's accession. No. It was at the same time. In fact, King Solomon knew exactly what the hell he was doing. He just didn't marry all these women for no reason because of lusting. Like a horn dog motherfucker. He did this to gain political strength around him so he can have friends, friendly neighbors, like any good king would try to do. And the Most High accepted this, except for bringing in other deities that the Most High knows about to worship. Now, these deities you think are made up. But if I lived back then, I don't have time to make up shit. I need to see. And then I react. Now, when you talk about Solomon, you have to bring in the fact that all his wives brought in their statues and idolatries through in his court, so to speak. But at the same time, Solomon already knew about them. Now, the Sidonian gods had to go up against Elijah. Now, what does that have to do with Solomon? Well, like a good Negro brew, what do you expect? The Most High won at that battle of Mount Carmel. That's what you would say. But at the same time, polygamy still exists. Now, when the people saw it, they fell on their faces. This is 1 Kings 18, chapter 18, verse 40. When the people saw it, they fell on their faces and said, "The Lord, He is God. The Lord, He is God." Then Elijah said to them, "Seize the prophets of Baal, and do not let one of them escape." So they seized them, and Elijah brought them down to the brook Kishon and slew them there. But it wasn't just 400. There was 400 other people who worshipped Asherah. And before they went to Mount Carmel, it was 450. This is 1 Kings 18, chapter 18, verse 19. And now they sent together to gather me, all Israel, Mount Carmel, together with 450 prophets of Baal and 400 prophets of Sarah, who eat at Jezebel's table. Elijah only killed the ones of Baal. He did not touch the 400 prophets of Asherah. And like I said prior, other deities are already popular among the Hebrews for several generations before Solomon. So the Most High let those 400 people slide. Why? Because he's related to her and she doesn't cause so much of a threat to him. But Baal did. But Baal did. He was a threat to him. So the Most High is picking and choosing who to worship. Why didn't he just kill the 450 other people? And he didn't. Elijah never accused other people of abandoning Yahweh or the Most High, whatever you're calling your Most High. He never accused them of anything. He just messed with Baal. There's nowhere in this book that says about the faith of the 400 prophets of Asura. They don't say a word about it. Only Baal was considered a threat. In fact, the worship of Asherah continued 20 years later after the death of those 450 prophets. Most of you people still think that this book is telling you all the truth. But you have no idea. You just think the first part of the book, the second part is completely fictitious. The first part is so chopped and screwed. You just have no idea. The statue of Asherah still stood in Samaria after the time of Elijah's conquer. Well, him winning the battle of Mount Carmel. And if it stood, it must have been worshipped. Now, in this book called Hebrew Goddesses by Raphael Patah, he explains this in well detail. And there's no piggybacking. I'm just explaining to you in a way you understand. But it seems to me that you guys are just stuck in the mud, you know? I used to be a diehard nigga brew too, and every time somebody will attack Israel, I'll just ignore it and get all mad, and I won't look into it at all. I'll just pretend like it only, you didn't say anything. Research everything else, but not what you said. If it made sense too, I'll just go back to the book and say, oh, it's hogwash, oh, the rules right here. And these rules was created to control you. Even the dietary laws. Now, here's the book. First, we know that political marriages between Rulers or foreign princesses were accepted means of straightening alliances or friendly relationships between states. Secondly, the introduction of four princesses in a royal household inevitably meant that emissions of her gods as well. Thirdly, while such marriages may have taken place at times during the reign of King, the most ambitious of Solomon's political marriages with the daughter of Pharaoh was entered into the very beginning of Solomon's reign. It is reasonable to assume that he married Sidonian princesses about the same time that he set to carry out the great building projects, which the execution of he needed friendship and help of the Phoenicians. The Hittite princess at his court was present, served as a living political bond between Solomon and the Neo-Hittite states of Syria, who also was also valuable for him at the same time, as were daughters of the Moabite, Ammonite, Edomite vessels. These marriages were in nature of guarantees of security, without which he would have to keep powerful troop contingents in constant readiness at the time when he needed all the available manpower in the country for the construction of grandiose religious and royal compounds. It is thus more probable that all these marriages was contracted by Solomon soon after his succession, that the introduction of respected divinities worshipped by his wife also took place at the time. You see? Nikki. All of this are contracts. And your Most High doesn't like his family members trying to take control and likeness of the people he's trying to control. He's trying to control them. That's all this is control. Control. Just like Janet Jackson's song, Control. That's all this is. Your Solomon did a lot of stuff that was anti that I brought up in my other videos, especially stopping Queen of Sheba from sun gazing. You can get a lot of information from the sun. You should try it sometime. But all in all this is about control. And you need to look further into the book. And when you see something that does not, basically goes after Israel, look into it. Because it seems to me that these pharaohs are the same people of your patriarchal line, your royal line. But I'll see you again. Rant one out.